In 2015, Blue Buffalo paid millions to settle a federal lawsuit after admitting their suppliers snuck poultry byproduct meal into formulas they swore were byproduct-free. But Blue Buffalo isn't the only brand betraying your cat. Open the wrong can and what you're really feeding your pet is corn fillers, artificial dyes linked to organ damage, and meat byproducts from sources no label will ever name, all disguised as balanced nutrition. You chose that brand because you love your cat. You trusted the label because it felt safe. That trust has been exploited for years, and your cat has been paying the price with every meal. In this video, we're exposing 13 cat food brands that have no business being in your cart, including some you'd never suspect. Stay until the end, because we'll reveal the 2 brands that actually deliver what the rest only promise. Coming in at number 13, Meow Mix. You know the jingle. You've heard it 1,000 times. The food cats ask for by name. That's what they've told you for decades. Meow Mix is one of the most recognized cat food brands in America, sitting on shelves in every grocery store, dollar store, and gas station from coast to coast. It feels familiar. It feels harmless. Then you flip the bag over and read the ingredients. The first thing listed is ground yellow corn. Not chicken, not fish, not any protein a cat would naturally eat. Corn. The second ingredient is corn gluten meal. The third is soybean meal. Your obligate carnivore, an animal biologically designed to survive on meat, is eating a bowl of processed grain held together with artificial colors. Red 40, yellow 5, blue 2. Dyes that exist for one reason, to make the kibble look appealing to you, because your cat doesn't care what color dinner is. Those dyes are purely cosmetic, and they've been linked in studies to behavioral issues in animals. The protein in Meow Mix comes primarily from poultry byproduct meal, a rendered mixture of necks, feet, intestines, and undeveloped eggs, not the chicken breast on the commercial. Scraps ground into powder and shaped into stars. Open a bag. That sharp chemical smell isn't freshness. It's the preservative system working overtime to keep rendered byproducts shelf-stable for months. Cats fed high-carbohydrate, low-protein diets like this are at elevated risk for obesity, feline diabetes, and urinary tract crystals. These aren't rare conditions. They're epidemics in American house cats. Your cat can't read the label. Your cat trusts you to read it for them. Meow Mix spent millions on a jingle. They spent nothing on ingredients worth singing about. If the most famous jingle in cat food is hiding corn and dye, surely a brand from Purina tries harder. It doesn't. At number 12, Kit and Caboodle. Purina's Kit and Caboodle sells itself as a colorful, fun, variety-packed meal that makes every bowl exciting for your cat. The bag is bright, the shapes are playful, the price is low. Everything about it says this is a happy, wholesome choice. The ingredient list tells a completely different story. Ground yellow corn is the very first ingredient. Not chicken, not turkey, not fish. Corn. Second is corn gluten meal. Third is poultry byproduct meal. That's 2 corn products before a single animal protein appears. And that protein is the same rendered scrap mixture found in the cheapest brands on the market. But Kit and Caboodle adds something extra. Artificial colors. Red 40, yellow 5, blue 2. The same synthetic dyes used in candy. Then comes BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, a synthetic preservative the National Institutes of Health list as reasonably anticipated to be a human carcinogen. BHA keeps the fat in rendered byproducts from going rancid on the shelf. It extends profits, not your cat's life. Pour a bowl. Notice how the kibble pieces look like a party. Little fish shapes, bright reds and yellows. Your cat processes none of that visually. It's theater for you, performed at your cat's expense. Cats on sustained high-carbohydrate, low-protein diets develop insulin resistance. Over months and years, this leads to feline diabetes, a condition requiring twice-daily insulin injections and frequent vet monitoring. A disease created one bowl at a time. Kit and Caboodle costs about $1 a pound. Treating feline diabetes costs up to $5,000 a year. That's the real price of cheap food. Purina could reformulate tomorrow. They won't, because corn is cheaper than chicken, and your cat can't file a complaint. That was Purina's budget line. But the next brand on this list has something darker in its history. Number 11, 9 Lives. Morris the cat. The finicky orange tabby who only ate the best. For generations, that advertising campaign convinced millions of American cat owners that 9 Lives was the premium choice. Morris had standards. Morris was picky. Morris would never eat garbage. Then in 2018, the J.M. Smucker Company recalled specific lots of 9 Lives canned cat food. The reason sent shockwaves through the pet community. Potential contamination with aniline, a toxic industrial chemical used in manufacturing rubber, dyes, and pesticides. Aniline in cat food, a chemical that causes damage to red blood cells, leading to a condition called methemoglobinemia, where the blood loses its ability to carry oxygen effectively. In cats, this manifests as lethargy, pale gums, difficulty breathing, and in severe cases, organ failure. The FDA confirmed the recall. The cans were pulled from shelves. But how does an industrial chemical end up in canned cat food in the first place? That question points to sourcing and quality control failures so fundamental that a recall doesn't fix them. Beyond the contamination crisis, 9 Lives everyday formulas rely on meat byproducts, wheat gluten, and soy flour as primary ingredients. The protein your cat needs to maintain muscle, organ function, and kidney health comes from the cheapest possible sources. Padded with carbohydrates their bodies cannot efficiently process. Open a can of 9 Lives pate. That uniform, pasty texture, that faintly metallic smell, that's not freshness. That's heavily processed scraps blended smooth enough to hide what's actually in the mix. Morris the cat sold trust for decades. The company behind him sold your cat short. One contamination scandal should end a brand. This one is still on every shelf in America. If a legacy brand can hide industrial chemicals, imagine what the mass-market giant is hiding. Number 10. Friskies. Friskies is one of the best-selling cat food brands in America. Purina moves millions of cans and bags every single month. The commercials show cats leaping with joy, chasing colorful dreams of fish and poultry through whimsical wonderlands. The reality inside those cans is considerably less magical. Many Friskies pate and gravy formulas list meat byproducts as the primary protein, followed by wheat gluten, soy, and artificial colors. But what's made headlines isn't just the ingredient quality, it's the consistency. Consumer complaints about Friskies have flooded the FDA and pet forums for years. Reports of foreign objects found in cans, hair, plastic fragments, and unidentifiable chunks that clearly aren't food. Cats refusing to eat batches they normally devour, a sign even animals can detect when something has changed. Peel back the lid on a can of Friskies pate. That sticky, gelatinous mass with an oddly sweet chemical smell isn't gourmet anything. It's rendered scraps bound with thickeners and dyed to look appetizing. The gravy varieties aren't much better, largely water and starch designed to create the illusion of a real meal. Cats fed these high-carbohydrate, byproduct-heavy diets long-term are prone to developing inflammatory bowel disease. Their digestive systems weren't built to process wheat gluten and soy day after day. The inflammation compounds. Nutrient absorption drops. Your cat slowly starves. Nutritionally while eating a full bowl twice a day. Purina made $34 billion in revenue. Friskies is their volume play, engineered for maximum shelf life and minimum cost. Millions of cans sold. Millions of cats paying the price inside. You'd think spending more would protect your cat. You'd think gourmet means better. Think again. Number 9. Fancy Feast. The golden can. The crystal dish. The white Persian cat eating delicately from fine china. Fancy Feast has positioned itself as the luxury dining experience for cats. And its branding is so effective that many pet owners genuinely believe they're feeding premium food. Some Fancy Feast varieties are passable, but many recipes tell a different story when you read past the label. Meat byproducts appear as a primary protein source across dozens of formulas. Wheat gluten acts as a cheap protein booster, inflating the guaranteed analysis numbers without delivering bioavailable nutrition. Artificial flavors mask the staleness of low-quality ingredients. And here's what rarely gets discussed. Several Fancy Feast recipes contain added sugars. Sugar in cat food. Cats are obligate carnivores with virtually no biological need for carbohydrates, let alone refined sugars. The sugar isn't there for nutrition. It's there to trigger palatability, to make your cat eat faster and want more, like engineering addiction into every bite. Crack open a can. That glossy, almost syrupy gravy coating the chunks. That sheen isn't natural meat juices. It's a manufactured sauce designed to look rich. Added sugars and excessive carbohydrates directly worsen feline diabetes risk. They stress the pancreas, promote fat storage, and create a cycle where your cat craves the food that's destroying its metabolic health. Fancy Feast generated hundreds of millions in revenue by convincing you a golden can means golden ingredients. A crystal dish filled with byproducts and sugar. That's not luxury. That's a costume. If this helps, you keep your cat safer at the store. Hit subscribe. It's free, and it means you'll never miss these exposés. If their gourmet line is a costume, what's hiding behind the sleek European packaging? Number 8. Sheba. Sheba markets itself as irresistibly delicious premium wet food. The packaging is minimalist, sophisticated, designed to evoke European refinement. Everything about Sheba whispers quality. The ingredient panel whispers something else entirely. Meat byproducts appear across most Sheba formulas. But here's what separates Sheba from other byproduct-heavy brands. The label frequently says natural flavors without specifying what protein source those flavors come from. Chicken flavor doesn't mean chicken. It means a chemical compound engineered to taste like chicken to your cat. The actual protein could be anything the supplier had available that week. And Sheba has faced repeated consumer complaints about sudden formula changes. Cats that happily ate one variety for months suddenly refuse it, or worse, develop vomiting and diarrhea overnight. Not because the cat changed, because the recipe did, without any label update, without any warning. Peel back the foil on a Sheba tray. Look at the texture. Some batches are smooth and consistent. Others from the same product line are grainy, discolored, or have an off smell. That inconsistency reveals sourcing instability. A supply chain where whatever is cheapest that month goes into the tray. For cats with sensitive stomachs, irritable bowel syndrome, or developing kidney disease, sudden formula shifts can trigger acute gastrointestinal crises. Vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, emergency vet visits, all because the brand quietly changed what's inside without changing what's outside. Your cat developed trust in that food. Sheba broke it without telling either of you. Sleek packaging, unstable product, sophistication on the shelf, chaos in the bowl. See the pattern? Budget brands use fillers. Premium brands use marketing. So where does that leave the brands veterinarians recommend? Let's find out. Number 7. IAMS. IAMS has positioned itself for decades as the veterinarian-recommended, science-backed choice for responsible cat owners. Real chicken is the #1 ingredient, the packaging declares. Tailored nutrition backed by research. It sounds like everything a careful pet owner would want. Then you keep reading the ingredient list. Corn grits, chicken byproduct meal, dried beet pulp, brewer's rice. The real chicken that leads the list is followed by a parade of cheap fillers that dilute the nutritional profile into something far less impressive than the marketing suggests. But IAMS carries a scar far deeper than filler ingredients. In 2007, IAMS was part of the massive Menu Foods recall, one of the largest pet food disasters in American history. Melamine, an industrial chemical used in plastics, had been deliberately added to wheat gluten imported from China to fraudulently boost protein content on lab tests. The contaminated gluten went into dozens of pet food brands. Cats and dogs across America developed acute kidney failure. Many died. The FDA confirmed thousands of pet deaths linked to the contamination, though independent estimates suggest the true number was far higher. IAMS products were on that recall list. Cats that trusted their owners, owners that trusted their veterinarians, veterinarians that trusted the brand. Every link in that chain was broken. The 2007 crisis exposed how little oversight exists in pet food manufacturing. Suppliers can substitute ingredients, spike protein readings with industrial chemicals, and ship contaminated product into millions of homes before anyone catches it. One recall, thousands of dead pets. And IAMS is still on every vet's shelf. The next brand has been on television since before you were born. What it's been hiding from you that entire time is worse than you think. Number 6. Whiskas. Whiskas is one of the most recognized cat food brands on the planet. Decades of advertising featuring playful, happy cats have embedded this brand into the consciousness of pet owners worldwide. It feels safe because it's been around forever. Being around forever doesn't mean being honest forever. Whiskas dry and wet formulas frequently feature ground whole corn as a primary ingredient, followed by poultry byproduct meal and animal fat. That animal fat is preserved with BHA and BHT, two synthetic preservatives that have been the subject of ongoing scientific debate for decades. BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, has been classified by the World Health Organization as a possible carcinogen. Its use in pet food continues because regulatory standards for animal feed are lower than those for human consumption. Your cat eats the same preserved fat twice a day, every day for its entire life. That's not a one-time exposure. That's a lifetime accumulation of a controversial chemical in an animal that typically lives 15 to 20 years. The science isn't settled, but the risk is real, and your cat didn't consent to being the experiment. Pour the kibble into the bowl. That greasy coating on your fingers. That's the preserved animal fat, BHA and all. Whiskas' parent company Mars Incorporated generated over $47 billion in revenue. They could replace BHA tomorrow. They choose not to. Your cat depends entirely on your judgment. Whiskas depends on you never flipping the bag over. 40 years of trust. 40 years of BHA. Check your pantry. Seriously, because the next brand is in almost every Walmart in America, and its recall history should terrify you. Number 5. Special Kitty. Walmart's private label cat food. Special Kitty appeals to price-conscious pet owners who trust the world's largest retailer to ensure basic quality in its store brand products. That trust has been broken repeatedly and spectacularly. Special Kitty was involved in the devastating 2007 melamine recall, the same contamination event that killed thousands of pets across America. Cats eating Special Kitty were among those that developed acute kidney failure from melamine-spiked ingredients. Then in 2012, Special Kitty was recalled again, this time for potential salmonella contamination. Salmonella in cat food doesn't just threaten your cat. It threatens everyone in the household who handles the food, touches the bowl, or cleans the feeding area. But here's what makes Special Kitty's salmonella risk uniquely dangerous. Pet owners who handle contaminated food and then touch their face or prepare their own meals can transmit the bacteria without knowing the source. 2 major recalls in 5 years, from a brand sold in the most visited retail chain on Earth. That's not bad luck. That's a systematic pattern of sourcing failures and repeated quality control breakdowns. A corporation with over $600 billion in annual revenue couldn't ensure its store-brand cat food was free of industrial chemicals and bacterial contamination. Special Kitty still sits on Walmart shelves today. Same brand name, same low price. Your cat doesn't know about the recalls. Your cat just eats what you put in the bowl. You've seen what the budget brands hide. You've seen what the store brands cover up. So surely a celebrity chef with her name on the label cares more about what's inside. Number 4. Rachael Ray Nutrish. Rachael Ray built her career on approachable, wholesome cooking. Nutrish extends that brand promise to pet food, natural ingredients, recipes you can feel good about, a smiling celebrity face that radiates trust. Then the lawsuit started. In 2018, a class action lawsuit alleged that Nutrish products contained glyphosate, the active ingredient in Monsanto's Roundup herbicide. Not traces, measurable levels. Independent testing supported the claims. Glyphosate, the most widely used herbicide on the planet, the chemical at the center of thousands of cancer lawsuits, detected in food marketed as natural. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classified glyphosate as probably carcinogenic to humans. Thousands have sued Monsanto claiming Roundup exposure caused their non-Hodgkin lymphoma, and it was found in a pet food brand whose entire identity is built on the word natural. Here's what that means for your cat. Cats are smaller than humans. Their organs process toxins at higher concentration, relative to body weight. A level of glyphosate considered insignificant in a human diet becomes proportionally significant in a 10-pound animal eating the same contaminated ingredient twice daily for its entire life. Open a bag of Nutrish. It looks like premium food. The kibble pieces are earthy colored. The bag features real-looking chicken and vegetables. The whole presentation says farm-to-bowl wholesome goodness. The lab results say, Roundup. Rachael Ray's face is on every bag. Rachael Ray's reputation sold every unit. Glyphosate isn't listed on any label. Natural on the front. Herbicide on the inside. A celebrity smile over a chemistry problem no one was supposed to find. We're not done. The number 2 spot goes to a brand that was actually caught lying in federal court. But first, number 3. Blue Buffalo. Blue Buffalo built its entire empire on one promise. Real meat first. No poultry byproduct meals. No corn. No wheat. No soy. That promise was printed on every bag. Repeated in every commercial. Embedded in every conversation between concerned pet owners at the pet store. It justified premium prices. It created an army of loyal customers who evangelized the brand. Then in 2015, Blue Buffalo settled a lawsuit that shattered everything. The company admitted that its suppliers had included poultry byproduct meal in formulas explicitly marketed as byproduct-free. The very ingredient Blue Buffalo built its brand against was in the food the entire time. They didn't discover it quietly and fix it. They got caught. Purina filed the initial lawsuit after their own testing detected byproducts in Blue Buffalo products. Blue Buffalo denied it, fought it, called it a smear campaign. Then the evidence became undeniable, and they settled. Millions of dollars paid. No admission of wrongdoing in the headlines. But it wasn't business as usual for the cats with food sensitivities, who were put on Blue Buffalo specifically because it was supposed to be free of byproducts. Cats with kidney disease whose owners paid $30 a bag because the label promised cleaner protein. Cats whose health conditions were potentially worsened by the very ingredients their food swore it didn't contain. Blue Buffalo has also faced multiple FDA recalls for elevated levels of naturally occurring toxins and potential health risks. The brand that promised transparency couldn't even be transparent about what was in its own food. They charged you more. They promised you more. They delivered the same byproducts as the brands they told you to. Avoid. That's not a mistake. That's a business model built on deception. At number 2, Purina One. Purina One positions itself as the step up. Better than Friskies. Better than Kit and Caboodle. Real meat as the number 1 ingredient. Smart blend nutrition you can see. Visible health benefits in 28 days. The marketing is relentless and effective. Millions of cat owners chose Purina One believing they'd graduated from the budget brands to something meaningfully better. Turn the bag around. After that, real chicken, corn gluten meal appears. Then soy flour. Then poultry byproduct meal. The same fillers and byproducts found in brands costing half the price, dressed up in premium packaging. Purina's Smart Blend is a marketing term, not a scientific standard. No independent body certifies it. No peer-reviewed study validates visible health benefits in 28 days. It's a slogan with a trademark symbol. But the real concern extends beyond Purina One to Purina's corporate track record. The company has faced thousands of consumer complaints across its product lines. Multiple lawsuits have alleged that Purina products caused pet illness and death. The Beneful line alone generated a class action lawsuit claiming dogs developed liver failure, kidney failure, and seizures after eating the food. Purina denied responsibility. Scoop a cup of Purina One from the bag. Feel the greasy film on the kibble. Smell that sharp, processed odor that lingers on your hands. That's rendered protein coated in flavor enhancers, engineered to be irresistible to your cat, while delivering nutrition that's only marginally better than what you thought you left behind. For cats already managing kidney decline, the hidden soy and corn gluten add metabolic stress. Their compromised organs struggle to process. Every premium-priced bowl is quietly accelerating the very conditions Purina One promises to prevent. You paid for better. You got better packaging. And now number 1. These. Brands that should never have been allowed on any shelf. Olroy and Pure Balance. Walmart's budget and mid-tier pet food lines. These brands promise complete and balanced nutrition at the lowest possible price. That combination should be the first red flag, because the math doesn't work. Quality protein costs money. Clean sourcing costs money. When the retail price is $1 a pound, something was sacrificed. History tells us exactly what. Walmart's supplier, Doan Pet Care, was at the center of a massive 2005 aflatoxin contamination recall that killed dozens of dogs. Aflatoxin is a mycotoxin produced by mold on improperly stored grain. It causes acute liver failure. These brands have been linked to multiple recalls beyond the aflatoxin disaster. Independent lab tests have found controversial preservatives and inconsistent protein sourcing that raises questions about what's actually in the bag versus what's printed on the label. The ingredient lists read like a catalog of everything we've exposed today. Corn products, byproduct meals, artificial preservatives, vague protein sources that shift with whatever is cheapest that quarter. Open a bag. That stale, almost musty smell isn't just unappetizing. It may indicate the very storage conditions that breed mycotoxin contamination. Aflatoxin doesn't announce itself. You can't see it or smell it at dangerous levels. It simply destroys the liver silently until clinical signs appear, and by then, the damage is often irreversible. Your cat walks to the bowl you filled this morning. Your cat trusts you completely. That trust deserves better than the cheapest product from the world's largest corporation. 13 brands exposed. From Meow Mix's corn and dye to Walmart's aflatoxin history. From Blue Buffalo's lawsuit to Purina's Smart Blend illusion. That's what's been in your cat's bowl. But 2 brands prove it doesn't have to be this way. The next brand on this list earned its spot by doing what every brand on the avoid list refuses to. Tiki Cat. Tiki Cat builds every recipe around whole, shredded cuts of real meat and fish. Not byproduct meal. Not rendered scraps. Actual muscle meat you can see and identify when you open the can. Pull back the lid, and the difference hits you immediately. You can see individual pieces of chicken, flakes of real tuna, shredded salmon that looks like something you'd put on your own plate. The smell is clean, faintly oceanic for the fish varieties, like actual food, instead of the sharp chemical odor from processed cans. No carrageenan, no grains, no artificial preservatives in most lines. The ingredient list is short enough to read in 10 seconds because there's nothing to hide. Most Tiki Cat formulas contain 5 to 8 ingredients. Compare that to the 20-plus ingredient panels on the brands we just exposed. The high moisture content in every can is critical for cats. Felines evolved as desert hunters, who derive most of their water from prey, dry kibble, and low-moisture pat formulas create chronic mild dehydration that strains kidneys over years. Tiki Cat's recipes deliver hydration with every meal, actively supporting kidney function in aging cats. Veterinary nutritionists have independently praised Tiki Cat's clean, limited ingredient profiles for cats with food sensitivities, kidney disease, and diabetes. The high-protein, low-carbohydrate formulation keeps insulin response stable and maintains lean muscle mass. This isn't marketing language on a bag. It's the biological reality of feeding an obligate carnivore what it was designed to eat. Tiki Cat costs more per can. Every ingredient in that can justify it. And finally, the brand that sets the standard no one else bothers to meet. Weruva. Weruva produces its cat food in human-grade facilities that meet USDA and international food safety standards. Human-grade. That means the factory, the equipment, the processes, and the ingredients all meet the same regulatory requirements as food made for people. Almost no other pet food brand can make that claim truthfully. Every recipe is free of carrageenan, MSG, GMOs, grains, and artificial additives. But what truly separates Weruva is traceability. Full batch traceability from sourcing to shelf. Every can can be tracked back to specific ingredients from specific suppliers. When a company can tell you exactly where every ingredient came from, they're not hiding anything. Open a can of Weruva. The texture is immediately different. Visible chunks of real chicken breast, identifiable pieces of fish, a light broth that smells like actual cooking liquid rather than chemical gravy. The consistency between batches is remarkable because the sourcing is stable. Weruva has maintained a clean recall history, 0 contamination events, 0 FDA actions. In an industry where recalls are routine, a clean record isn't luck. It's the result of investing in quality control rather than just printing quality on the label. The high-moisture, whole-ingredient recipes support kidney health, healthy weight, and reduced inflammation in older cats. These are the conditions that generate the most expensive and heartbreaking veterinary emergencies, and they're largely preventable through proper nutrition. Your cat cannot read reviews. Your cat cannot compare labels. Your cat walks to whatever bowl you put down and eats with complete trust. Weruva earns that trust. Most brands just exploit it. 13 brands exposed, 2 that deliver. Your cat's next meal is your decision. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.